Chicago Bulls versus Orlando Magic. Two Eastern Conference teams with contrasting aspirations meet in Orlando as the Chicago Bulls visit the Orlando Magic at the Kia Center. The Bulls, off to a 1-0 start and sitting second in the Central Division, are seeking to build early season momentum behind a rejuvenated core, while the Magic, 1-1, and looking to assert themselves in the competitive Southeast Division, aim to steady the ship after a mixed opening week. Chicago is fresh from an impressive win over Detroit, while Orlando comes off a narrow defeat to Atlanta. According to analytics, the Magic hold a decisive 68.2% win probability, but the Bulls' energy and cohesion could make this matchup far closer than projected. Chicago enters the contest boasting balanced offensive efficiency, averaging 115 points per game on 44.8% shooting. Orlando, meanwhile, has shown explosive scoring ability, posting 125 points per contest with a slightly better 46.7% field goal mark. This game pits the Bulls' structured half-court offense against a Magic team built around pace, length, and defensive disruption. The narrative here is clear. Can Chicago's disciplined execution slow down Orlando's athletic, transition-driven attack? The Bulls' offensive rhythm has been powered by DeMar DeRozan's mid-range mastery and the evolving playmaking of Patrick Williams, while Nikola Vucevic remains the steady inside anchor. However, injuries to starting guard Kobe White, out until November 4th, and forward Zach Collins, out until November 16th, will test Chicago's depth and ball movement. Expect Javon Carter and Alex Caruso to take on expanded backcourt roles, especially in initiating sets and guarding Orlando's perimeter weapons. For the Magic, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero headline an emerging frontcourt duo capable of creating mismatches on both ends. Banchero's physicality and Wagner's shot creation from the wing present a difficult challenge for Chicago's forwards, while Jalen Suggs' defensive pressure could limit the Bulls' backcourt effectiveness. Recent form paints a nuanced picture. Chicago's preseason tune-ups suggested inconsistency, but their 115-111 win over Detroit showed promise, with balanced scoring and improved rebounding. Their defense still has holes, particularly against stretch forwards, but the chemistry is trending upward. Orlando, on the other hand, split its first two games. A hard-fought 120-104 loss to Philadelphia, followed by a 132-125 shootout victory over New Orleans before dropping a close one to Atlanta. The Magic have shown offensive firepower, but defensive lapses late in games, allowing opponents to claw back. In the standings, Milwaukee leads the Central at 2-0, with Chicago close behind at 1-0. The Bulls are playing catch-up but could stay competitive if health holds. In the Southeast, Charlotte tops the division at 1-0, while four teams, including Orlando, sit at .500. A win would put the Magic in early contention and signal progress in their rebuild. Injuries slightly favor Chicago. Orlando misses Moritz Wagner, out until October 25, thinning their frontcourt behind Wendell Carter Jr. Both teams rely on bench contributions. Chicago looks to Ayo Dosunmu and Torrey Craig for energy and defense, while Orlando depends on Cole Anthony and Joe Ingles for late-game shooting. X factors include Chicago limiting turnovers and exploiting Vucevic inside, with DeRozan controlling tempo and drawing fouls. For Orlando, Banchero's efficiency and pushing pace off rebounds will dictate flow, while Jonathan Isaac's defensive presence, if active, could neutralize Chicago's mid-range threats. Expect a tightly contested game with momentum swings. Orlando's home court energy and athleticism may provide an early edge, but Chicago's veteran poise and structured offense should keep it close into the fourth quarter. With the Magic averaging 10 more points per game but still refining their defense, a close finish is likely. Analytics favor Orlando 68.2% to 31.8%, projecting a 123-116 Magic win led by Banchero, while the Bulls remain competitive despite being short-handed. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Orlando Magic winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus Atlanta Hawks. The Oklahoma City Thunder and Atlanta Hawks meet at State Farm Arena on October 25, 2025, in a battle between a surging Western Conference contender and an Eastern team still finding its rhythm. The Thunder, off to a perfect 2-0 start and leading the Northwest Division, enter this matchup with strong momentum, while the Hawks sit at 1-1, hoping to establish early season consistency. Oklahoma City's fast-paced, balanced offense contrasts sharply with Atlanta's heavy reliance on star power and perimeter shooting, setting up an intriguing cross-conference clash between youthful explosiveness and veteran composure. For Oklahoma City, the early season narrative revolves around balance and efficiency. The Thunder are averaging a staggering 133 points per game while holding opponents to just 118. Their 44.7% shooting mark underscores their ability to spread the floor, while a 49.0 rebound average shows dominance in the paint. Atlanta, meanwhile, has been more volatile, scoring 118 per game but surrendering just as many. Their 44.2% field goal rate and 25.0 assists per game highlight a team that moves the ball well but has yet to find its defensive rhythm. Oklahoma City's depth will be tested with several key players on the injury list. Jalen Williams, out until October 27th, and Alex Caruso, out until October 30th, leave holes on the wings, while Chet Holmgren and Cason Wallace are both game-time decisions. Holmgren's potential absence would be significant given his shot blocking and inside presence. Atlanta faces its own injury woes, with Kristaps Porzingis and rookie Zachary Rissacher both sidelined, stripping them of interior size and spacing ability. The Thunder's last 5 games showcased their offensive ceiling, a 141-135 overtime win over Indiana, and a 125-124 double overtime thriller against Houston prove their resilience. They've won 2 straight, building confidence behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's leadership and their league-leading assist-to-turnover ratio. Atlanta, on the other hand, rebounded from an opening loss to Toronto with a 111-107 win over Orlando, showing flashes of cohesion behind Trae Young's playmaking and DeJounte Murray's defensive versatility. Still, defensive lapses and lack of bench scoring remain concerns. In the standings, Oklahoma City's 2-0 record puts them atop the Northwest Division ahead of Utah and Portland, both 1-1, while Atlanta sits 5th in the Southeast Division behind Charlotte. Though early, the Hawks can't afford to slip behind in a tight division where Miami and Orlando are expected to contend for playoff spots. The Thunder, conversely, aim to solidify their identity as a top 3 seed in the West. Key X factors include Oklahoma City's ball movement and perimeter defense against Atlanta's dynamic backcourt duo. If Holmgren plays, his rim protection could neutralize Atlanta's interior drives, while Gilgeous-Alexander's mid-range mastery will pressure Atlanta's backline. For the Hawks, Trae Young's three-point efficiency and Clint Capella's rebounding could tilt the momentum at home. Prediction: Oklahoma City Thunder 124, Atlanta Hawks 115. The Thunder's depth, pace, and chemistry should prove too much for an injury-depleted Hawks squad, extending OKC's unbeaten run to 3 while Atlanta continues its early season adjustments. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Oklahoma City Thunder winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Charlotte Hornets versus Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers look to build on Tyrese Maxey's 40-point eruption as they host the Charlotte Hornets at Xfinity Mobile Arena in a battle of early Eastern Conference unbeatens. Both teams enter the contest 1-0, but their trajectories tell very different stories. The Sixers, a perennial playoff contender led by Maxey and veteran leadership, face a youthful Hornets squad eager to prove its opening night win wasn't a fluke. Philadelphia currently sits third in the East, while Charlotte holds fifth after a statement victory over Brooklyn. With both offenses lighting up the scoreboard in their openers, this matchup promises fast-paced basketball and plenty of fireworks. The Sixers' offense hums through Maxey, who's taken full command of the backcourt following the team's roster transition and Paul George's temporary absence. Maxey's explosiveness off the dribble and improved shooting consistency were on full display in his 40-point performance against Boston, where he shot over 55% from the field. Charlotte's challenge will be containing that speed while finding answers for Philadelphia's perimeter ball movement and second-chance scoring. The Hornets, meanwhile, enter with one of the league's most balanced early stat sheets. 136 points scored in their opener, shooting an efficient 53% while showing depth across their rotation. Their ability to space the floor and share scoring responsibilities makes them unpredictable and dangerous, especially if their bench production holds steady. Statistically, Charlotte's early season offense leads the NBA with 136.0 points per game, while Philadelphia sits at 117.0. The Hornets also hold slight advantages in field goal percentage, 53.3% to 45.9%, and assists, 33.0 to 29.0, though the Sixers counter with better defense, averaging 9.0 steals and 4.0 blocks per game. This clash of tempo versus control could dictate the game's rhythm. Charlotte will look to push the pace, while Philadelphia thrives when forcing turnovers and executing in half-court sets. Recent form favors both squads. The Hornets have won their last 3 contests dating back to preseason play, including high-scoring affairs against Brooklyn and Memphis, demonstrating offensive chemistry and resilience in close finishes. The 76ers, winners of 4 of their last 5, have shown steadiness against tough competition, including a gritty 117-116 victory over Boston and a strong defensive showing versus Minnesota. Both teams have offensive rhythm, but the Sixers' home court advantage and defensive structure may provide an edge. Injuries could play a quiet but crucial role. Philadelphia remains without Paul George, Trendon Watford, and rookie Jared McCain, with forward Justin Edwards listed as day-to-day. Charlotte enters fully healthy, giving coach Steve Clifford flexibility to exploit mismatches. Expect Charlotte's perimeter shooters to test Philadelphia's defensive rotations, especially with George sidelined. X factors lie in composure and bench depth. If Maxey receives steady help from his secondary scorers, Philadelphia's efficiency could outweigh Charlotte's explosiveness. Conversely, if the Hornets' energy and ball movement create early separation, the Sixers may struggle to keep pace without their full roster. Both teams are early in their campaigns, but this game carries weight, a tone setter for Eastern Conference pecking order and confidence. The prediction leans toward Philadelphia, buoyed by home momentum and Maxey's ascension into star form. Analytics give the Sixers a 70% probability to win, but Charlotte's dynamic offense poses real upset potential. Expect a tight contest decided late, with Philadelphia escaping 118-112, a high-octane duel that could hint at the East's next breakout contender. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Philadelphia 76ers. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Indiana Pacers versus Memphis Grizzlies. The Indiana Pacers and Memphis Grizzlies square off at FedEx Forum on Saturday night, both searching for early season rhythm in the 2025-26 campaign. The Pacers, off to an 0-1 start, are still looking for their first win after a double overtime shootout loss to Oklahoma City. The Grizzlies, meanwhile, sit at 1-1 following a narrow defeat to Miami, aiming to stabilize in the competitive Southwest Division. For both teams, this game is less about early standings and more about identity, one trying to rediscover its offensive efficiency, the other looking to prove it can defend home court despite key injuries. Indiana enters the contest ranked last in the Central Division, already 1.5 games behind unbeaten Milwaukee and Chicago. Their offense remains potent, averaging 135 points in their opener, but defensive lapses have been costly. The Pacers shot just 43.8% from the field in their lone game, but compensated with pace and perimeter shooting. Memphis, on the other hand, has averaged 128 points per game while connecting on 51.2% of its shots, showing the kind of offensive balance that makes them dangerous even without their full roster. The FedEx Forum crowd will expect a statement performance from a team still trying to integrate young talent and stay competitive amid injuries. The key storyline centers on availability. Indiana's backcourt rotation is decimated, with Andrew Nembhard and T.J. McConnell sidelined until early November, rookie Cam Jones out for the same stretch, and Quentin Jackson nursing a short-term injury. Johnny Furphy remains a game-time decision. Memphis faces its own adversity. Vince Williams Jr., Brandon Clark, and rookie center Zach Edey are all out until early November, while Ty Jerome and Scottie Pippen Jr. are sidelined until mid to late November. Both benches will be tested, forcing creative lineups and heavier minutes for starters. Expect the Grizzlies to rely on veteran leadership from Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr., while the Pacers turn to Tyrese Halliburton's playmaking to steady their tempo. Recent form tells a tale of volatility. The Pacers have dropped 4 of their last 5, with their lone win coming in an offensive outburst against Charlotte, 116-101. Their inability to close out tight games has haunted them, most notably in the 141-135 loss to the Thunder in double overtime. Memphis has alternated between flashes of dominance and inconsistency, routing New Orleans 128-122, but falling twice to Miami and Charlotte in games defined by late defensive breakdowns. Both teams enter on a one-game losing streak, emphasizing the need for composure in clutch moments. Statistically, Indiana holds a slight edge in assists, 21.0 to Memphis's 20.0, and blocks, 4.0 to 2.0. But the Grizzlies dominate the boards, averaging 51 rebounds per game and a staggering 12 steals per outing. That defensive activity could frustrate a depleted Indiana guard core. Memphis's energy in transition and ability to convert turnovers into points may prove decisive, especially against a Pacers defense still struggling with rotations. This matchup carries different implications for each side. For Indiana, a win would build momentum before a tough Central Division stretch, while for Memphis, it's about proving depth and toughness despite missing multiple rotation players. The Grizzlies aim to keep pace with 2-0 San Antonio, while the Pacers look to avoid an early Eastern deficit. Both teams are young and fast, capable of scoring bursts, but one must sustain effort over 4 quarters. This game will likely hinge on half-court execution and rebounding. Indiana depends on Halliburton to control tempo and create open shots, while Memphis leans on Jackson Jr.'s interior defense and Bane's perimeter scoring. With home court advantage and stronger rebounding, Memphis is better suited for the game's physicality. Memphis's depth and efficiency should outweigh Indiana's firepower in a fast-paced matchup where turnovers and second-chance points decide the outcome. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Memphis Grizzlies winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Phoenix Suns versus Denver Nuggets, the defending champions. Denver Nuggets return to Ball Arena for their home opener, facing the Phoenix Suns in a Western Conference clash that could preview a playoff matchup down the road. The Nuggets enter the game 0-1 after a high-scoring overtime loss to Golden State, while the Suns sit at 1-1 following a tough road defeat against the Clippers. Both teams are early-season contenders in their respective divisions, with Denver looking to reassert its dominance in the Northwest and Phoenix seeking to prove it can challenge the conference elite despite early injuries. Denver's offensive firepower remains elite. The Nuggets poured in 131 points in their opener, shooting 53.7% from the field and hitting 8 threes while posting 43 rebounds and 8 steals. Nikola Jokic continues to be the engine that drives Denver's offense, operating as both a scorer and facilitator in a system built on precision and movement. Jamal Murray's perimeter control and Michael Porter Jr.'s spacing make this unit dangerous from all angles, and they'll look to exploit Phoenix's inconsistent defense that surrendered 129 points to Los Angeles on Thursday. Denver's balanced attack is likely to test the Suns' transition defense and rebounding, especially with Jalen Green sidelined. Phoenix, however, boasts one of the NBA's most explosive scoring lineups, even without Green. The Suns average 120 points per game through 2 contests, with a 47.4% field goal rate and an impressive 51 rebounds per outing. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant have carried the offensive load, combining for over 60 points per night in the early going. Booker's ability to create off the dribble and Durant's mid-range efficiency make them one of the league's toughest duos to contain. The Suns' key will be slowing the tempo and avoiding turnovers that fuel Denver's transition scoring. Defensively, Phoenix averages 7 blocks and 7 steals per game, but their perimeter rotations remain a concern against passing-heavy teams like the Nuggets. Momentum and recent form tell an interesting story. The Suns' early season rhythm has been inconsistent, alternating wins and losses through their first 2 games. They opened the year strong with a 132-127 win over Brooklyn and a balanced 120-116 victory against Sacramento before dropping their last outing 129-102. Denver, meanwhile, is still searching for its defensive footing after giving up 137 points in an overtime thriller to the Warriors. However, the Nuggets' performance in that game revealed their offensive ceiling. Jokic and Murray combined for over 60 points, while the supporting cast, led by Porter and Aaron Gordon, showed flashes of vintage efficiency. Injury-wise, the Suns' rotation takes a hit with Jalen Green out until later this week, stripping them of secondary scoring and perimeter defense. His absence forces more playmaking duties onto Booker and additional minutes for Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon. Denver enjoys a clean bill of health, giving head coach Michael Malone the luxury of depth, balance, and flexibility in his rotations. Phoenix enters tied with the Lakers and Clippers at 1-1 in the Pacific, trailing early leader Golden State. Denver, last in the Northwest at 0-1, aims to avoid an 0-2 start at home. With both teams chasing championships, this matchup is about testing chemistry and identity against elite competition. X factors include Denver's ball movement, Jokic's high-post passing and Murray's pick-and-roll mastery, and Phoenix's three-point shooting and rebounding. The Suns must counter Denver's paint dominance and hope Durant delivers another big scoring night to offset Green's absence. Prediction: expect a fast-paced, offense-heavy game. Denver's home court advantage, depth, and chemistry give them the edge over a Suns squad still adjusting rotations. Final: Denver 128, Phoenix 117, with Jokic near a triple-double, and Durant leading Phoenix in a strong but losing effort. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Denver Nuggets winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box.